Hey guys, hey. So, welcome to Flourish Talks. I am your host, Olivia Thomas, the founder of the Busy Girls Brunch and Intentional Consulting and a bunch of other stuff. So, today, I'm super duper excited to have you guys here to hear from someone who I think is actually just super dope. So, we have Jenea Robinson, the founder of Marsh Mane. Um, which is like a beauty supply experience. I don't know what else to call it. Like, I feel like it's such an experience because it's so beautiful. You know, when you're thinking about taking care of your hair and your life and yourself, like you want to go somewhere that's not like cold and dark. And I think her store really brings that to life. Now, prior to that, I met her at a public relations society event, and she was the one of the four Black people in the room, and and like me and the other two Black people were sitting at one table, and I saw her walking in, and I was like, her hair is amazing, and I want to be her friend. So I low key, just followed along and just became, a benevolent stalker. Let's call it that. So I'm gonna let her introduce herself and tell you more about her and what she does. And we're going to talk about having a brick and mortar during like COVID. It's crazy stuff. So let's bring her on. Hey,
Hi.
how are you?
Good.
I
I'm your intro and your story.
a benevolent stalker. Like I just thought you were so cool and like your big hair. I'm like, oh,
I do remember, well, having attended a lot of PRSA events. They're usually like maybe six of us total in a whole room. So
that's it. So it was so dope because I mean at that time I was super fresh in PR. So this was easily like 7 years ago, like super fresh in public relations. And then to see someone just like walk in so confidently in a room where like you are you, right? It was beautiful to me and it was so inspiring. So I don't think I've ever told you that. So thank you.
oh, thank you.
Like it was amazing. So like I said, you are the founder of Marsh Mane, but you are so much more. You please tell everybody who you are.
So again, my name is Jenea Robinson. I am the owner of Marsh Mane. Marsh Mane is a natural care beauty and lifestyle boutique. We're located at 4th and South on 4th Street in Philadelphia. Like Olivia said, it is much more than beauty supply. We do sell, I'm in the store right now. So we sell hair products, but then we also have skincare, some bath and body and lifestyle items. Most of the products are made by men and women of color. And I just wanted to create like an oasis for us to shop and just chill and relax and be at ease when you're looking for your products.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Um, so like what inspired you to do it? So like I said, we kind of met in the realm of public relations. At the time you were working at a large organization. So I mean like what in you was like, let me make this transition?
So part of me always knew I was going to work for myself. I thought at one point it was going to be only my own PR agency. But then I quickly realized like that is not something I wanted to do. And the company I was working for at the time was within the hospitality industry. And I started to realize that all the things that I loved and enjoyed fell under this umbrella of hospitality. And I didn't even put those two things together. Um, and I was always obsessed with my own natural hair journey. I went natural while working in PR. And even took all of my white coworkers on that journey with me, like explain, like, hey, I started off with the perm, and this is what's happening every day. From watching hair videos at work at that first job, and I was a product junkie. I used all of these products, I researched products, and then I started making my own products. And then I sold those products for a few years. And the plan has always been to get back to making those products and bringing them into the store. I just haven't gotten to that yet, but it is on the list of things to do.
I love
Um,
it.
so I so I had this love of hair and hair care, and I come from a family of people who are also into hair, whether they're hairstylists or they make products themselves. Um, and I started to, because I spent so much time buying products and I spent a lot of time at beauty supply stores, I just really hated the experience. Here I am, I'm working in hospitality, so I'm going to like these really cool experiential restaurants and hotels and museums and shops, and I'm having these experiences everywhere else in my life except for this industry and this space, and this was the one that I enjoyed the most. So I said to myself, "Hey, I'm gonna create the kind of place that I wish that I could shop in."
I love that. I love that so much. You're right. Like we spend a lot of time thinking about our hair and like participating in hair stuff. So why should our hair and self-care shopping experiences be beautiful?
And as Black women, like it really is the only place where you can't get um, a, a 360 experience. You can find it even at hair salons. We have hair salons that have, they're like hair salons and day spas and um, wherever you want to buy your clothes, where you want to buy your food. But when it comes to the beauty supply industry, it really has not changed much,
Yeah,
like ever. I mean, outside of it moving online and you have that experience, but the physical brick and mortar experience really hasn't evolved much.
I love it. I love it. So I mean, like obviously, innovating within an industry that's kind of been like around forever. Obviously, you had to put some like thought into what the strategy would be. So I mean, like what has your experience strategy? I mean, obviously, we're in a pandemic, so we can't gather in the way that we previously have.
Right.
But in the beginning and even transitioning to now, what was your strategy to start and how have you kind of pivoted as things have changed?
So the strategy was to bring in products that you could really only find on Instagram, on Etsy. That was like the first batch of products, because a lot of us who spend a lot of time again thinking about our hair. There are tons of products and influencers and people that we follow, and we see these products, and some people just still want to touch and feel and smell products.
Yeah.
So that was like the first group I went after. Then of course I was going to have your staples, your Camille Rose and your Shea Moisture and Miel and all these products. I was going to have those too, but I really, really wanted to bring in those products that you couldn't access unless you ordered them online.
Right.
So that was the product selection process. But then also I wanted this store to be a gathering space where we could get educated about hair and just serve as a gathering space for like-minded brown girls in Philly, because I felt like there was a lack of those spaces as well.
Yeah.
Whatever industry it was, there was a lack of those spaces. So I wanted to put it all in one place. So pre-COVID, when I first opened, I was hosting twist out workshops. So we would gather and I would bring in different hairstylists. Shout out to Marissa and Joy, the two that I've worked with. To host those workshops where we were bringing about 15 women. Some people would come in with their daughters and we would learn how to do a twist out, right? Because this is like your basic natural hairstyle. Again, watch YouTube videos, but some people need more hands-on. So it was really good and a lot of fun. So we did that, and then we had some product demos. We had some of the independent makers come in and demo their products, and those events went well. And we hosted everything here from meditation and yoga events to just happy hour shopping events. So I can't wait until everyone complies with the CDC so we can get back.
Seriously. I love, so even the idea of like mothers bringing their daughters, that made me tear up a little bit. And like, because like hair is such a beautiful and communal experience that I think as Black women, we for a long time, you know, more within the last like decade, we've become, you know, more excited about it and things like that. But it's such an experience that you know, it's previously been something we fought against and we hated and like, oh my God, I have to detangle this and it's gonna take forever. And we didn't know how to do it. So it was even worse.
Yeah.
And like my mom didn't know how to do my hair. Like my cousin would braid my hair or my aunt would perm my hair. That was it.
Yeah.
So like the idea of like developing a new skill to love yourself and to love your child is something I just think is like beautiful, and to create space for that, like that's amazing.
You know, it's one of those things that, like in my mind, I was like, okay, these are events that I want to do, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't until people came in the door and started to share things like you're sharing, or people walking in the room and getting emotional, that I realized like, wow, like this really means a lot. But I know, again, I know what hair means for me and my family. I mean, my mom knew how to do hair. She had 3 girls, and then she had her hair to deal with, and then so she relaxed our hair like very young. I got my first relaxer at 6 or 7 in my uncle's salon, and yeah, and it wasn't. She knew how to do. I would still get it braided, but it was about managing and how in that time commitment. So one thing I see a lot of are women. I would say maybe they're like Gen X, right? So that's like 40s, early 50s, I guess, who either still straighten their hair or still relax their hair, but they want to learn how to manage their daughter's natural hair. They're like, hey, this is where I am. I'm committed to perming my hair. This is where I am, but I don't want to do the same with my child. But since they've done their hair, like you've gone to the hair salon your whole life, and so you do have this group of Black women who just really don't know how to do their own hair because they go to the salon all the time. And so I get a lot of those women who come in and they want to learn how to do their child's hair.
Awesome. That's amazing. Yeah. Okay. So that was your strategy and your dream and your vision for, you know, pre-COVID when you originally opened it. I think it's so funny that we have to really speak in terms of like pre-COVID and like it's like AD BC.
Yeah.
What? So
real thing. I think they're gonna add it to the dictionary. It's gonna be a term. Like
it's absolutely insane. So we have, you know, the pre-COVID strategy, you know, it was very in person and very connective. But now we are currently in this situation where we have to, you know, deal with it. What has your strategy for pivoting been? Because I know you did have to close the store for a little while. You recently got back in. Like, how did that work?
So I've always had the online store, but it was never something that I pushed. I really put the products online because I have so much of my network that doesn't live in Pennsylvania. So I put it up there really for them so that friends and family could order and support. And I was only fulfilling a couple of orders a week before. So obviously during quarantine, it shipped to 100%. It shifted to 100% online. So the obvious first strategy was to just develop a better online presence. With the challenges, everything that comes with a business being closed, you know, the financial issues and just, you know, all of that, you know, just navigating that and figuring out, fumbling my way through. I did host a few online things on Instagram that like everyone else was doing, but then I felt like it was just overload. Like I was overloaded with all of the Instagram lives that everyone was doing. That, you know, so I took a step back from that. It's something that I am thinking about how to do if we end up in quarantine again. I personally feel like it will be happening again. So I say, because, you know, without being able to gather in person, it's really hard. it's just really hard to recreate that same space. So I've been trying to just focus on having products, keeping things in stock, and that's a challenge in itself. Finding new items, and I'm open to any suggestions. So if anyone has any ideas, let me know.
Listen, if I think of something, I got you. You already know.
Text me.
Seriously. That's kind of, I mean, I don't know. I think I've seen this huge shift to people, since the first wave of it. Like, I got an influx of advertising about starting your business online, and just go online, and it's so easy, and all these different things. But I feel like people don't recognize, like, that transition from brick and mortar to online isn't really the same as, like, oh, I created a course where I'm a service provider.
Right. And I know I talked to some other brick and mortar business owners in the city during that time. We were in touch with each other. And it was a struggle for all of us. It was like, when you put so much energy into creating an in-store experience, and then trying to figure out within a week, how do you translate that to online? I'm not going to say it's impossible, but I just feel like you can't, at least I couldn't think about how can I bring that in-store experience online. I had to shift the thinking to what can I do that's different, because just things aren't the same in that time, So I am glad, that we're open now. But I think it was an eye-opening experience for a lot of us. So the only thing we can do as business owners is just to be better prepared and to plan, just in case this happens again.
Yeah. It's such a big one. Okay, so you're working on your strategy now for what it looks like moving forward, and then the potential of another, wave, and then potential shutdown, which, God willing, it doesn't, like, if people comply, like you said, like, we don't have to close the world again. Like,
yeah, I think my personal thoughts, I know, the discussion of COVID and mask and vaccinations and all that can become very political, but I just think for some people it's not real to them because they haven't had a personal experience with it yet.
Right.
So until some people either contracted themselves or a family member or a friend, unfortunately, it's going to take that for some people to realize that it's real.
Yeah. So yeah. And I mean, hopefully they figure it out before that has to happen. Like, I don't, like, my a family friend has had it, and it's just so strange to kind of think about the idea that this is such a universal issue.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no one in the entire world who is not in some way affected by this. Like, how could you not take this seriously? But politics. So, in the realm of, like, kind of having to pivot from the store, like, obviously as a business owner, you're a person. So how have you kind of pivoted in or increased, like, your means of taking care of yourself in the stress of it all?
It kind of went in waves. So for health, I went out and purchased, like everyone else did. I got my elderberry, and I got my vitamin C, and sea moss, and all those things. I've just been trying to be vigilant about boosting my immune system, because that's one thing that we've seen out there. Like, that's the, part of fighting it is having a strong, healthy immune system. So if you're fortunate enough to have a healthy immune system, that's great. And I still want to try to, do that. And because I'm out and about every day, a lot of people are still, self-quarantining and all those things, but I am out with customers. You do need a mask to come into the store, but, you're still out. I'm still sanitizing. So, so I'm just trying to focus on that. And mentally, it was, you know, a lot of prayer, trying to stay prayed up as much as possible, and not beating myself up for feeling however I was feeling in the moment. I kind of try to allow myself to do that. So if I was having a moment where I was like feeling bad and like, oh, no one ordered anything today, I like, you know, I let myself feel that, and then move past it. And if I wanted to lay in bed and watch TV, I let myself do that. And then when I wanted to be really productive, then I was really productive. I just kind of like went with the flow. Like, I think there was a period, like when I first started, I wasn't even really posting anything on the stores page. So I'm like, what am I talking about? Like, I don't want to sell anything to anyone. Everyone is going through this. Some people have lost their jobs. Like, why am I pushing product on people? You know, I went through all of those things. So I just let myself feel whatever I was feeling. And that helps a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds so much like the stages of grief.
Right.
It's like, can't go outside, shouldn't post, shouldn't this, like, I have to feel things, I have to allow other people to feel things, and then kind of like move with everything that's happening.
Yeah.
So weird.
You know, I made it through, and you know, like now looking back on it, like it really wasn't that long ago. Like now that I was like, oh, that was a long time ago, but it wasn't that long ago. And you know, I still freelance. So I still have some freelance PR work. So I kept those things up too during that time, and that helped to just give me something else to do because I was trying to limit how much I was coming to the store. I still had to ship online orders, but I was trying to only come down once, maybe twice a week.
Yeah,
do that. But you know, it was sad for a little while coming in here, and it was dark, and I pretty much converted the back of the store to like a little warehouse, like boxes everywhere, and it was a lot.
that is so much. Oh man. So in your freelancing, have you had to do any like crisis work recently, or has it kind of been like the standard like general creation of 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 content and connections?
Well, I think all the content shifted to COVID, so it was you know, if it's a product or whatever, it's like what changes is this I'm sorry, something just fell, and I it's scary because I am the only one here.
No. The way you jumped, I was like 911.
I run out this door, just cut the broadcast off. Just know that something on that. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, the clients. Yeah. So all the content shifted to COVID related stuff. It was either like, what are you doing to stay safe if you're open, if you're essential business, or what are you doing online and how can you share that story? But media hardcore covered COVID. Like all media shift to COVID, everything, even like the health and wellness things, outlets were all like, okay, who's doing yoga online? Who's doing meditation online? So if you weren't doing anything related to that, and it was hard because I know a lot of colleagues in the PR world, you know, lost work, lost jobs, a lot of clients cut people. There were some things that I was going to start working on right before that, you know, didn't happen because, you know, everything shut down. So, and then you have people that were busy and working. So I had some projects like that were like a lot of writing, like writing people's like media sites and bios and stuff like that.
Awesome. So if there's someone who's kind of going through the same like brick and mortar to online to brick and mortar transition, like how would you advise or like encourage them?
That's a good one. I would say if you don't have a website, start working on it now. Even if your store is open, just work on it. Just have it up. Most POS systems, and that's what we use in stores to manage sales. Most of them have some type of free integration for the website. So just work on it. It doesn't have to go live. Just have it. So if we go into shutdown again, you can just flick that switch and you are prepared to do online orders. So I would say that that was the most helpful thing, was to already have that in place. And just planning and strategizing. Like this is not something that we could prepare for, but now we know that this a part of our reality. So what are some things that you can do online that are still related or at least adjacent to your business that can supplement what you already do, just in case you can't sell what you normally sell? I think a good example, I think people should look to the restaurant industry for creativity, like for inspiration, because I'm down here on South Street and looking at how some of the restaurants have innovated during this time is really interesting. So some restaurants, if they weren't able to be open, they made themselves an essential business by selling groceries. Like if you have all these eggs that you keep to bake your bread every day, now you can't sell your bread. Okay, well, I have eggs, and I'm groceries, and that's something that you would never think of a restaurant for. So just looking to other industries to find inspiration. That's what I'm doing really for this, for a potential next phase, is to have more of that creativity, more of that thinking. Like, okay, what's something that I wouldn't typically do, but could do in these unique circumstances? So plan, look to other industries, look outside of your industry for inspiration, and have your online store ready.
Yeah, I love it. It's so real. You kind of answered the next question, but maybe you'll answer it differently. I was going to ask, like, who or what is inspiring you, like, right now?
Yeah, watching, I like to find inspiration from other industries, and really because I don't feel like there are many people who are doing what I'm doing in the beauty supply space. There are people that are doing it with product selection. There are lots of Black-owned beauty supply stores popping up, and we're selling lots of the same products, but not in terms of experience. So I have to often look outside of the industry for inspiration. So yeah, not hotels, the restaurant industry has been very, very inspiring. And then for other sources of inspiration, what do I do? I don't know. I Instagram stalk like everybody else, and I save a lot of things that I want to go back to. I'm reading a lot. I pull inspiration. I'm a person that pulls inspiration from a lot of different places, so it's hard to say like, oh, I read this or that. We were talking about lurkers, right? Before we went live, but I'm a part of a lot of groups. I lurk on this group on Busy Girls Brunch and see what's going on. So yeah, just stay inspired.
Awesome.
Pulling stuff from everywhere.
Yeah, it's so real. There's so much information. Like it's like there's no lack of inspiration that's like out in the world. It's just there's stuff. Just got to keep going and got to keep our heads down and take the stuff that we're doing and actually apply it. The application is the big crazy part.
It is.
It is.
It is.
Oops, my phone is like going off like crazy. I am so sorry. Okay. Yeah. So I was gonna ask, what are you reading right now as well? But
so one thing I am reading is a friend's manuscript. So you guys can't get that yet, but I'm either reading like dystopian. That's one of my favorite genres. So I did this. It's appropriate, which I feel like I am personally prepared for the apocalypse. But I just started reading Parable of the Sower. So that's an older book, but I've never read it. So I'm reading that right now, and a friend's manuscript. So I'm kind of simultaneously reading those two things. But during quarantine, I finished the new book, not Children of Blood and Bone, but the part 2, Children of Vengeance, and I can't think of the name. But it was the part 2. So Children of Blood and Bone.
I love it. I love it.
So I read that.
Are you in the what is it? Like the Black girls who read something group? I'll send it to you if you're not in there. I don't know.
I can't. I have a hard time with book clubs and reading groups because once you tell me what I have to do, then I can't. Like it's like an assignment. Like I just like to just read and just get into it. Like so, I've never been good about that. One of my friends runs a book club, and I don't even participate.
I go for the suggestions. I like read people's comments, and it's like, oh, okay, maybe that. I'm like trying my hardest to get into fiction books. Like I spend so much time just reading personal development and like business books all the time. I remember when I was like living at my brother's house, and I have a ton of books, and I moved there. And my sister-in-law, I think she was excited because I think she thought I was gonna have like fiction books. Like none. Like one.
Wow, and I love fiction. I mean, I love fiction, but I try to balance it out. I'm either reading like something very whimsical and or super dystopian, or I'm reading like a saga.
Okay.
That's also it's like either like just Black fiction, not fiction, history and bio.
Yeah.
Period, but I do love period pieces, and then I love dystopian. So also covers what I'm watching on TV as well.
There you go.
Just in case anyone was, wondering.
Dystopian. That's literally it. I love it. I love it. Jenea, you are amazing. I think I have extolled you enough for the day. But I'll be back tomorrow. I'm kidding. Yeah, so thank you so much for being here. Any last words for the busy girls brunch and anyone else who might see this in the hereafter?
This was fun. I love to, talk and share, and I'm an open book. So if anyone has questions about anything, you can always reach out to me at Marsh Mane on Instagram, MarshandMane. And if you haven't been to the store, I would love to see you. We are open right now, Wednesday through Sunday, 12 to 6, and then 12 to 5 on Sunday. And we sell online and we ship all over the country. So you can visit marshandmane.com. And I hope to see you all soon.
Yay! I'm actually going to place an order pretty soon because I need some stuff. So I'm excited. Yeah. So thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited for how you're going to pivot and the strategies you're going to put together for your store and creating space and experiences for Black women to, engage themselves in this area that is so personally theirs. So thank you for what you do. And thank you for being here.
Thank you.
All right, lady. All right, bye, everybody.
Bye. I'm going to check out this mysterious sound in the back.
Yeah, don't let us know you're good.
All right.
All right.
Bye.